Warning. The truly unusual motion picture you are about to see contains many scenes of graphic violence. It is not intended for the faint of heart, nor the young and impressionable.
In 1394 AD, Europe and Asia were all but destroyed by the Black Plague. 6 centuries later, a new virus annihilated half the world's population. After the epidemic, major corporations reclaimed the earth and divided nations into plague zones. The healthy were allowed to live freely. The diseased were imprisoned in these zones. By 1997, a third group of survivors emerged, called Zero Men. Infected with a non-contagious yet fatal strain of the plague, the Zero Men had 1 to 2 years left to live. With knowledge of their impending death, their behavior was sometimes erratic.
Year 2013, a plague swept across the continents, leaving death in its path. Scientists desperately tried to find a cure, but the Reaper, as the disease became known, took their lives along with 4 billion others. Governments and whole cities moved underground to quarantine themselves from those infected. New Los Angeles became the nation's capital, as the Earth's surface soon turned into a dangerous, barren wasteland.
Each year, some 135 billion pounds of toxic waste is discharged into America's waterways, and billions more are spewed into the air. Of the more than 48,000 chemicals registered with the Environmental Protection Agency, only 1,000 have been studied to measure accurate health risks, and only half of those have been studied for their cancer-causing or reproductive effects, or for their ability to cause genetic change. More than 1 ton of toxic waste is produced each year for every man, woman, and child in America. In 1989, American Industries reported 74,000 episodes in which toxic chemicals were either routinely or accidentally released into the environment. Government figures, which tend to be conservative, estimate that 2,000 Americans die each year from cancer attributed to polluted air. Our nightmare is just beginning.
In late 1986, a 55-gallon drum of highly toxic experimental chemical warfare nuclear waste was rumored to be missing from a high-security warehouse facility at Fort Henry Dicker, Maryland. After many denials, it was finally admitted by top Pentagon officials that indeed 1 drum of the biohazard was unaccounted for. Fort Dicker spokesperson Brigadier General John Gillis maintains that this barrel poses no human health threat. Retired Fort Dicker scientist Dr. Roger Soriano, when asked to comment, replied that this one particular barrel could mean the end of life as we know it on this planet.
In 1956, the first killer bees were transported to South America from their native Africa. Once there, the African bees began mating and established themselves as the dominant breed, causing hundreds of deaths throughout South America. Despite this deadly threat, every attempt to stop them from multiplying or from sweeping northward into Texas and California has failed. It is speculated that by the end of this decade, killer bees will have spread across most, if not all, of the continental United States. The following could be a true story.
In fierce competition for home entertainment dollars, the Video Corporation markets the VidVisor. To ensure profits, a trance-inducing microchip, the motivator, is hidden inside the coin-operated device. The designers greatly underestimate the power of the hypnovision effect on the will of the American consumer, which has deteriorated through years of media bombardment.
Cryonics is the science that places a body in a frozen state until such time as the illness or condition that terminated its life force can be medically treated. Thus far, no human being has returned from a cryonic suspension. Until tonight.
A machine trained to deliver humanity from the final cataclysm. They built him a machine, the most awesome ship ever constructed, and with a mind of its own. She was raised by a machine, but alone knew the power of love. Together, they searched the wilderness of stars for a place where the cycle of creation could begin again. Xenogenesis, man's ultimate adventure.
APEX, Advanced Prototype Exploration Unit. In the year 2072, the APEX program was brought online. Its purpose, the exploration of time. To avoid contact, robotic probes were sent to uninhabited areas. Biological tests from early units revealed viral and cellular disorders caused by the transition through time. To prevent contamination and the creation of a time paradox,
the A101 priority order was implemented. This order mandated that sterilization units be sent to any point in time where a paradox was detected. Once in operation, units would continue to be sent until the complete elimination of the paradox timeline.
The year is 2000 AD. This would normally be a very joyous occasion. Unfortunately, all of the planets in our solar bringing cosmic powers at an all-time high. To make matters worse, there is an evil creature lying within the bounds of the Earth, known as the Underlord, and he plans to use all of this cosmic power to release himself from his underground prison and wreak havoc upon all of the world. Luckily for us, however, there is a force on this planet strong and brave enough to go against this beast. And this force consists solely of 4 average teenagers from Highland High School. And of course, they refer to themselves as the Disaster Squad.
Search the wilderness of stars for of love. Search the wilderness of stars for of love. Search the wilderness of stars for of love.